Weldcorp, the new breed in welding. During the following presentation, we'll cover the topics which will assist you in getting started with your new welder. We'll cover the Weldcorp welding range, safety, weldable materials, machine setup, consumables, correct welding technique, the difference between a good weld and a bad weld, troubleshooting, and getting help when you need it. Let's have a look at the Weldcorp range. Weldcorp have two arc welders, the Arc 140, which is a 140 amp arc welder, and the Arc 170, which is a dual voltage 170 amp arc welder. The MIG range includes three models, starting with a 100 amp no gas and two dual purpose models covering 120 and 160 amps. Our three new technology electronic inverter arc welders cover 80 amps through 120 amps and 140 amps, completing 8 models in the range. Our welders are quality products that are produced in Italy and carry a 1-year warranty. When using welding equipment, basic safety precautions should always be followed to reduce the risk of fire, electric shock and personal injury. If used correctly, welders pose little risk to the operator. However, care should always be taken to ensure safety and proper performance. Read your owner's operating instructions before attempting to operate any welder. Keep the work area clean. Cluttered work areas, indoor or outdoor, invite injuries. Consider the work area environment. Don't expose power equipment to rain. Don't use welders in damp or wet locations. Keep the work area well lit. Don't use welding equipment in the presence of flammable liquids or gases. Welding produces fumes that can be harmful, so always work in a well-ventilated area. Guard against electric shock. Avoid body contact with grounded surfaces, such as electrical appliances or water pipes, and always check for damaged power cables before connecting to power. Wear safety eyewear and clothing. Welding produces arc radiation that can cause serious injury to the eyes and burn skin. Always wear appropriate safety eyewear like this approved welding mask. Wear clothing that will protect your skin from radiant heat, and proper welding gloves are a must. Keep children and visitors away from the area of operation. Don't let children or visitors touch equipment or power cables. Ensure that surrounding people are not exposed to the welding flash. Now that we've covered some important safety aspects, let's have a look at job setup. This is an important process for all welding tasks. Always make sure that the surfaces or metal to be welded are free from dirt, rust or paint. A dirty surface will make it difficult to achieve a good weld. So clean it up with a wire brush or grinder. This will provide a good surface for welding. A good contact is also required for the earth or grounding clamp. Wire brush or grind off a small area big enough for the clamp to make good contact. The job should be clamped securely in a vise or with handheld clamps to make the job stable whilst welding. To set up the arc welder for welding is quite simple. A traditional transformer type arc welder that uses an electrode or welding rod will only weld metal that has a minimum thickness of 1.5 to 2 millimeters. Any thinner than this, and metal will just burn away, creating blowholes in the job. Always match the electrodes to the material that is to be welded. These general-purpose mild steel rods are a perfect match for the mild steel section we're about to weld. If in doubt, always read the electrode specifications that are on the packaging. Now, set up the welder. Weldcorp makes it easy with a chart like this, which you can find in your owner's manual. For example, if you're using a 2.5mm electrode to weld steel with a thickness of 2 to 4mm, check the guide and it'll tell you that you need to set the machine at 60 to 100 amps. Now the machine's set up, we can connect the earth clamp to the job like this. Place an electrode in the electrode holder like this. All we need to do now is switch on the power and we're ready to weld. With the job prepared and clamped into position, we can start the weld. We begin by striking the arc, which means we make light contact with the job by striking it with the electrode like this. Once the arc is established, withdraw the electrode about 1 mm from the job and holding the electrode at about a 30 to 40 degree angle from the job. You run it like this, running your weld left to right. This is a basic skill that'll take some practice to master. The weld is made by feeding the electrode along the joint into the molten metal puddle, maintaining a constant distance between the electrode and the job. If the electrode is too close, it looks like this. If it's too far, it looks like this. And this is the result. This is too close. This is too far. And this is just right. It'll take some practice to master the skill, but practice is the key. If you've purchased a Weldcorp electric inverter arc welder, the basic principles of welder setup for all arc welders is the same. Remember the important points about job preparation and the importance of clean surfaces and contact points. The inverter technology provides a wonderful new experience in welding as they actually make it easier to achieve a good result. They're lighter, more portable, more efficient, and a whole lot smarter. Generally, when we begin welding, we experience difficulty because both the electrode and the workpiece is cold. During this time, the inverter automatically increases the power for a split second for a much easier start. The inverter also controls amps during the welding process. It'll increase and decrease the power to help maintain a consistent weld. This is called arc force.